Baderon, the proprietor of the Drowning Wrench, has a suggestion to put you on the road towards new adventures.
How do you fare, Raide? Rested and ready to expand your horizons? Well then, I've an idea where you might try heading next. Have you heard of the skylift out in Middle La Noscea? If you ever visited Wold Whisper Canyon, then you must have been up and down the thing at least once. It's a big bleeding scaffolding attached to the descent. You've likely seen the lads and lasses out there using it to haul cargo up the cliff face. Odd labor, that, and I hear they only could use an enterprising soul to pick up the odd jobs where no other buggers got time to deal with. Track down the head of the operation, bloke by the name of Workrit, and he'll be sure to put you to work on a task or two.
Baderon sent you out here, did he? Then consider yourself welcome at the skylift. Look at that bloody cliff, will ye? One blast of fiery hell from that huge dragon was all it took to split the ground in half. Cargo still needs to get through, though, so this mess of wood and pulleys was our solution to the problem. Well, one of them at least. If the gods were kind, and they ain't, I'd have about a dozen more workers to handle me grown list of headaches.
Workrit, a skylift operator, needs you to recover a cargo load abandoned by a terrified wagon driver and deliver it to its intended recipient.
Glad am I to see you again, lad. A wagon driver just returned in a great bloody hurry, screaming about some monstrosity which sprang out from a millicorn seedling in his cargo. Seems the gutless bastard tossed it over the side before turning tail and running for his life. I need ye to head down the road, recover that seedling, and deliver it to Wolof over at Swiftperch in Western La Noscea. Whatever he pays you for cargo is yours to keep. After all, I don't rightly know what else is lurking inside that plant, and you deserve to be rewarded for your troubles. Oh, and you'll also find aetheryte in Swiftperch, so the journey should be worth your while.
The mare herself forsaken this desolate land. Though I understand there were risk in gambling my entire fortune on a crop of millicorn, I at least expected the seedling to be delivered before disaster struck.
This strain of millicorn has been bred over generations to grow even in the rockiest of soils.
Is that my millicorn seedling? Oh, joyous day! It may seem a paltry beginning, but the yield of this particular variety of crop plant is nothing short of astonishing. As you may have undoubtedly noticed, Swiftperch lacks a certain, shall we say, vital energy. Thus, I mean to restore a modicum of hope to our residents by growing a veritable ocean of corn. You, sir, seem fit to burst with vim and vigor. Might I persuade you to abide a while and help nurture this ailing settlement?
Freyloof, a yellow jacket on guard duty in Swiftperch, wants you to visit the Brewer's Beacon and investigate the reason behind the waning light.
You there, adventurer, cast your eyes toward the Brewer's Beacon. Does the light not seem uncommonly weak? It cannot possibly be bright enough to guide the ship sailing in the bay. I would march over to the lighthouse and investigate myself, but I am duty-bound to remain at my post. I would consider it a favor if you could make a visit to Brewer's Beacon and see if aught has befallen Conswis, the lighthouse keeper.
You say a yellow jacket sent ye here, eh? My light's gone dim, has it? Well, of course it bloody has. The bomb that fuels me furnace is up and buggered off, you see. If I don't get the beacon fixed up soon, there'll be trouble on the water. I know you're just a messenger lad, but I can tell a adventurer when I see one. I'm going to need you to chase down the bomb and bring it back a claw which ye ripped from its smoldering corpse. Take this here iron brazen and set her down in the middle of the flock, somewhere near the scarecrow, I'd say. You get a nice fire going, and that frisky bomb will soon be about. You'd watch you don't singe your eyebrows, lad.
When lit, this receptacle will not only produce light, but provide heat to the immediate area. All you need to do is take down that runaway bomb and bring me one of its little claws. Unbearably hot to the touch, the remnant of a void-sent bomb will set aflame nearly anything it comes in contact with.
I got the ashy bastard, did ye? Once I put this little firecracker in the furnace, that should keep things running for a while. I had myself a bit of a look while he's gone, and Limlin cursed me if the furnace weren't all bent and broken. Small wonder the bloody bomb was able to escape. I patched things up the best I could, but I ain't no smithy. You may want to have a chat with the yellow jacket friend of yours in Swiftperch, and have him pass the word back to someone in Limsa.
The furnace is damaged, is it? Very well, I shall write up the relevant reports, but these repairs must needs be effected without delay. It seems I have another favor to ask of you, adventurer. Take yourself straight away to Armorer's Guild in Limsa Lominsa and explain the situation to Forge Master, Hanaznaza.
The furnace the brewer's speaking needs repairs. By God's beard, I just sent someone out to tinker with it not a week past. Mayhap the bomb Quenswis had trapped in there was a touch too volatile. I'll have an artisan visit the lighthouse and pay special attention to reinforcing the casing of that furnace. Your work is done, adventurer. May the navigator guide you on your journeys.
Forge Master Hanaz, head of Naldik and Vemils, wants you to assist in the workload over at Morbay Drydocks. What say to taking on some work from Naldik and Vemils? We've got a great hulking warship to build and could certainly use an extra hand for any number of tasks. For your first job, I need you to run this missive over to Atblim, the head shipwright at the Morbay Drydocks. We forged most of the ship's bits and pieces here at the Armorer's Guild, but the actual construction takes place at the docks found at south of Lower La Noscea. That's also where you'll find the main offices of Naldik and the Mills. The Morbay Drydocks is one of Limsa Lominsa's most important districts, at least as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure you'll not regret attuning yourself to the area's aetherite. If you've no confidence in your sense of direction, you'll be best served making use of chocobo portals. First floor of the mizzenmast, in case you are wondering. Should you choose to make the trek on your own 2 feet, leave the city through the Tempest Gate and follow the road south. May the navigator guide your steps.
You have a missive for me from Forge Master Hanazna. I assume it pertains to the pending arrival of materials I ordered over a moon past. Let's see it then.
An important message entrusted to you by Naldik and Vemilis? Yeah, it's actually Vemilis. Forge Master Hananza, with orders to deliver it to Victory Shipwright Ottenbring.
Blast and botheration. Another delay. I'm well aware of the shortage of skilled artisans, but this is insufferable. My apologies. The messenger does not deserve to bear the brunt of my frustration. Might I have your name? Raide, is it? Well, Raide, this proud maiden you see taking shape before you is the Victory, the first new vessel to grace the docks since the Calamity. We may have lost the bulk of our ships that fateful day, but starting with this beauty, we will restore the Maelstrom's fleet to its former glory. The Victory is more than a simple warship. It is the symbol of Limsa Lominsa's rebirth from the wreckage wrought by the coming of the 7th Umbral Era. Thus we are striving to complete her construction as swiftly as possible, even going so far as to hire veteran shipwrights from outside the thalassocracy. Yet, even with such unprecedented measures, there are never enough hands to handle the abundance of tasks. Should you choose to linger at the dock for a time, there is no end of odd jobs for a hard-working adventurer. Be you fair warned, there is no place here for layabouts and troublemakers. Otbrim is looking for a member of his crew and the items he was supposed to deliver. Where the seven hells is that man? Not once in 12 moons has he been late with a shipment, and now 2 whole turns of the sun without a single word. A shipwright of mine, a young man named Frilsmid, recently left Candlekeep Quay to retrieve several crates of supplies ordered from Limsa Lominsa, but is yet to return. I have sent several missives to Halbroda, but his replies are always the same. He does not recall ever seeing the rites, nor the supplies he was scheduled to collect. The man knows something, and I severely doubt he is telling the whole truth. As I cannot leave my post, I would ask you to travel to Candlekeep Quay in my stead to inform Halbroda that if he insists on playing these games, I will personally see that he is transferred to Turtleback Island, where he can rot alone in the middle of the sea for eternity. Does that self-righteous dog Otbrim doubt I have never told him anything less than the truth? Turtleback Island? He cannot do that, can he? I swear on my poor Nana's grave, Navigator rests her soul, I know not of Frismid, nor his precious supplies. Hells, we at the Quay had enough trouble in these past few suns with the sinking of that Lominsan cargo ship off the Salt Strand. I haven't time to take a proper piss, let alone take note of every scrag that wanders in off the grip. Halbroda has a suggestion for the kind of venturer who came bearing Foreman Altbrim's message. Now, the way I see it, if you have time to be standing here questioning my character, then you most certainly have the time to get your ass of yours down to the Salt Strand and help us search for survivors of the wreck. Who knows, you may just run across this Frilsmid everyone seems eager to find. Here's to hoping the Navigator hasn't found him first. Hi, I'm Frilsmid. You say the foreman's been wondering on me whereabouts. I thought he might be. But you must know, I cannot show my face at the Drydocks until I've righted the terrible wrong I caused. 2 nights past, I made the trip from the Drydocks to Candlekeep Quay, just as the foreman asked. The seas were right rough, and the captain of the cargo ship was wary of bringing her too close to the cliffs, so I paid a few coins to a fisher to take me out to meet her. By the time I was halfway twixt shore and ship, the swells had risen to nigh on 10 yalms, and it wasn't long after the waves had a hold of us. Try as we might to steady the boat, nature's grip was too tight, and we was flung headlong into the Lominsan galley.
When I awoke, both ships were gone, and the cargo I was to collect lay strewn across the salt strand. I has made every effort to salvage it, but the sands are quelling with the kickering, and I ain't one with a sword. Now you see why it is I cannot return to the dry docks. That night I was tossed into the sea like some dull rags, and it weren't long before the world around me faded to black as I slipped deeper into the abyss. But lo, the navigator wouldn't see me to the gates of the seven hells, and I woke to find myself washed ashore, and then I've been ever since waiting for a chance to salvage my master's cargo. A piece of nautical equipment intended for victory and sought after by shipwright Frismid. The missing parts. I don't know how I can repay you. I'll deliver the supplies right away, but first I must stop by the quay so I might pay my respects to the widow of the brave fisher who gave his life for a handful of coin. Can you tell Altbream I'll be back at the dry docks by daybreak? Many thanks, adventurer. I will not forget this kindness.
I'm relieved to hear that both Frismid and the supplies are unharmed, though it was foolish for him to believe that I would blame him for that which was obviously out of his hands. You see, there was no storm that day, and the seas here adjacent to the dry docks were as calm as a slumbering child. This leads me to believe that the trouble the ships encountered off Candlekeep Quay was less of a natural sort, the sort which the Sahagun had been known to conjure.
Victory Foreman Altbream is considering recommending you for an important job involving dry dock security.
Raide, while I originally had doubts about your motives, you have repeatedly proven yourself an asset to Naudik and Vermelis. I still do not like you, but that does not mean I do not trust you. Grimthota, head of the watch here at the dry docks, believes the pirates may be plotting an attack on Victory, and she requires assistance investigating a group of unsavory individuals making camp nearby. I have recommended you for the task. Despite all limps and laments endured before, during, and following the Calamity, the fact that there are still those who would turn their backs on the city-state so they might line their pockets with a few handfuls of coin, just the thought of it sickens me.
Yes, I had a feeling you would be the one Altbrim sent. Since you first arrived at Morbay Drydocks, I have my men watch you. Oh, there's no need to get angry. I make it a point to keep an eye on all those new to the area. It is simply protocol. And you'll be pleased to know that nothing incriminating was found. You appear to be a model citizen. That, and the foreman seems to think somewhat highly of you, which I admit is quite shocking. A man doesn't even trust his own mother. Very well, then. I assume Altbrim informed you of what your task would entail. The pirates, we believe, are conspiring to raid the dry docks, were last seen making camp near the ancient stone called the Mark of the Spinner. I would have you approach the men, posing as a lost adventurer, and see if you cannot somehow learn of their intentions. Kanango, stationed at the rear of the gates, can provide you with an exact location of the camp.
Raide, haha! I knew it! No more sardines for Kanango. Tonight I shall down on the finest salmon of the peninsula. Why? Well, I had a little wager going with some of the other gods on who Otbrim would recommend on the next job. My money was on you. Ah, the job. Yes, of course. If you follow the road past the gates to the southeast, you'll eventually come to a barren cape with a single large stone half buried in the cliff overlooking the sea. Followers of the 12 say it's a holy place dedicated to Mira, the spinner. I'd be surprised if the pirates camped up there were aware of that, though.
I'm giving you to the count of 9 to step back on that path and carry your adventuring ass back down to whatever rock it is you crawled out from under. You see, it's up to my ears if you try roaming the hills like they were yours to roam. It's getting to be a man can enjoy a mug of rum without some shake-breath outlander running up and asking, "Which way to the local live, mate? Some else if I know. I'm a bloody pirate, goddammit."
Those balls. Once we've had my boy back, I'm putting this godforsaken pissole of an island so far behind me, ain't no one will remember I was even here. Come on, Scrags, we nice to shopping.
So the trespassers are indeed pirates, and they are indeed planning something. But what is this talk of getting me boy back? Could it be that their target never was the victory? Something is not right, and I won't sit idly by waiting for those pirates to make the first move. I shall order increased patrols immediately. Thank you again for your help, Raide. It appears we were wise to put our trust in you. Gimthota, the captain of the watch at Morbay Drydocks, wishes your aid in dealing with potential intruders. I am concerned, Raide. It appears that the pirates I had you investigate are on the move. They creep ever closer to the Drydocks, so I must assume they mean to target the Victory herself. The ship is the symbol of everything Limps and Lominsa strives to become, and I will not allow these base scoundrels to lay a single finger upon her hull. We must apprehend them before they put their plans into motion, and you, Raide, are just the man to do it. Without your capable assistance, I fear the security of the Drydocks cannot be guaranteed. Not moments ago, my guards submitted reports of suspicious activity in the area. Pray begin your efforts by listening to one of their accounts firsthand. It matters not whom you choose to speak with, but be sure to question either Erstwist at the front gate or Sanango at the rear. Any suspect saboteurs you encounter during the course of your investigation are to be interrogated. Report any and all findings directly to me.
Hey, Adventure, glad to have another hand on board to help shore security. Gods know our reports would sit on Grimthota's desk gathering dust if it weren't for the assistance of those such as yourself. Speaking of reports, though, I saw one of those mangy pirates lurking around the cliff near Empty Heart. I'd take a closer look before he has a chance to cover his tracks. Oh, spotted me, did ye? Well, you're too late. What's to happen is already happening.
So, you found one of those pirates, did you? I knew you're the right adventurer to ask for aid. But what could those knaves be planning? What's to happen is already happening?
Captain, trouble at the shipyard.
Easy now, soldier. Who did this to you?
Pirates, out of nowhere. Struck me good.
God's blow, we were not prepared for this. The pirates, soldier, how many do they number?
Not sure. More than I can quickly count. Seem to be carrying explosives.
Explosives? Then we've no time to lose. Raide, you heard the situation. Make your way to the shipyard and engage these intruders. I will see this man's wounds, then follow after. Make haste now.
Never reckoned it'd be this easy. Still don't trust those slimy bastards, but their plan worked like a charm.
Da! What are you doing, you great bloody fool?
Shut your trap, boy. This'll all be over soon. All that's left now is to blow this ugly pyro driftwood into splinters.
Why would you do such a thing? Have you any idea how important this ship is? What it represents?
Aye, and that's what makes it all the sweeter. Whatever it takes to knock some sense into me treacherous, backstabbing son. Imagine a boy of mine giving up the pirate life to become a shipwright and building a bleeding Maelstrom vessel at that. What under Lamlin's wide green ocean made him take up these self-righteous shites?
You're the one with no bloody sense, Da. Don't you see? The pirates had their glory days, but that era is over.
Ah, I wondered why Elbrain never spoke of his father. I never would have thought.
This ship's a symbol, right, of everything that went wrong with the world, and I mean to shatter it into 100,000 pieces.
Gimthota, Raide, pray beat the tar out of this bloated sea dog and make sure no harm comes to the victory.
This is madness!
A pirate don't abandon his treasures.
Leave him to us. Raide, Snago, to me!
Reappearing out the fin.
Mamelchul mercenaries? I'll take the Maelstrom. You focus on Atsafin.
You've no idea who you're up against.
Well, adventurer, Atsafin has a crazy glint in his eye.
Now, out of my damn way!
Please, you cannot let him win.
I must be getting old, letting some green venture get the best of me.
Duh.
That's one bloody big ship. Big and nasty looking. You made that, did you?
My thanks, Raide. I shudder to think what may have become the victory without your intervention. The pirates have made a right mess of things. I best get sorting out the docks. And my thoughts could use some sorting out as well. Ever did my father have a way of turning my life upside down? Pray convey my thanks and my apologies to Grimthota.
How fare you, Raide? I cannot begin to thank you for the role you played in preventing this madness. You defended more than a simple ship. You saved the budding hope of Limsa Lominsa from a violent demise. The day was yours. It seems our security regimen will require much in the way of improvement if we are truly to keep the Drydocks safe. Otbrim apologizes. Well, I suppose I can understand why he would feel responsible for his father's actions. Of all those involved, this incident was hardest on him. But in time, I believe he will come to a single conclusion. The most fitting way of moving past his anguish is to see the victory completed and in the water. By the by, the pirates we defeated have been handed over to the Yellow Jackets. Rayner's men will be taking over the investigation. Before the Yellow Jackets moved in, however, we recovered a most unusual object. Should you have the time to spare, I would ask you another favor. Grimthota wishes to entrust you with an important task. Raide, in light of your role in recent events, there are a few others to whom I entrust this task. Since last we spoke, a curious missive has been discovered amongst the personal effects of Azafin, the pirate behind the plot to sabotage the victory. This missive was penned in the most unusual script, a script we believe to be some manner of code. Needless to say, anything which is a proven enemy of Limsa Lominsa deems worthy in ciphering is likely to be of great interest in the Maelstrom. Unfortunately, none among us can make any sense of the message. In cases such as this, I am told the Yellow Jackets aren't wont to turn to Baderon and his convenient connections. Thus, I would have you deliver this missive to the proprietor of the Drowning Wench, into his hand and no other. Do you understand?
Oh, there, Raide. I've been hearing about your deeds at the Drydocks. Otbrim laid out the entire tale for me. Poor sod was still reeling at his old man's part in the business, but at least he kept the victory from being sunk afore she sailed. And for that, I owe you my thanks.
You really made a name of yourself in Limsa, lad. Folk know that when they need something doing. Eh? You need something doing? And what might that be? Whatever language this missive is written in, it is one that you are not familiar with. You want someone to read the message written in funny letters for ye, and Grimthota thought I might know a man as could. Well, let's see it then. Aye. I reckon I might know a canny bugger who can read stuff like this. Ugly sod by the name of Baderon. You know, you're like one of me regulars now, Raide. You never let me down yet, and Navigator help me, I reckon I can trust ye. Grimthota is right to want this message deciphered. We got us some trouble brewing here, and no mistake. Get ready for action and I'll explain. Good to have you aboard, lad. Now then, where to start? Baderon has a task for a trusted adventurer. Back when I was younger in Astia, I earned my living as a sellsword. In that business, if you wanted to know what your enemy was up to, you had to learn to read the orders you prized from their cold dead hands and his mates. Now I came to know how to read your message. Truth be told, the script was only too bloody familiar. Them Sahagun letters, lad. And I should know, I got in more fishback messages than I can count. It gets worse, though. The plan to blow up the victory is all in here, right down to the fine details. Looks like they meant to raise 8 kinds of L in Western La Noscea, and it with the Maelstrom's new flagship in the confusion. The point being, the attack on the victory weren't the act of a few rebellious pirates. 'Twas to keep out of some canny bastard's grand plan. But if I'm reading this aright, the attack itself came much too early. I wager they panicked when they saw they was on to him, and rushed to do the job and bucketed it up. Them two-faced bastards, as they say, was paying Opbrim's old man, and them with the 7 rivers, right? But none of their crew was there, was they? Did they have something better to do or what? Seven L's, I've got it all backwards. The mess at the victory. That was meant to be the bloody distraction. The fishbacks ain't interested in the Maelstroms, baby. They're after men, just like they've always been. They're sending the pirate lackeys after a civilian target. A bit of raising hell in Western La Noscea? That's what it'll be. Summit tells me Swiftperch is about to get it in odd. Here's a rough translation on the message. Take it to Commodore Rainier at the Coral Tower and tell him it's for a busy day. Oh, give him a hand, will you? You sure damn sure need one.
Yes, I am Rainier. You must be an adventurer whose name seems to be on everyone's lips. You are to be commended for your part of thwarting the plot to destroy the victory. Now, what can I do for you this day? You bear an urgent message from Baderon. Why do I get the feeling my hopes for a quiet morning are about to be cruelly dashed? Tell me, what is afoot? A small slip of paper with Drowning Wench proprietor Baderon Tenfinger's unintelligible writing scrawled all over about it. An assault on Swiftperch, but we see nothing to suggest the Serpent Reavers are massing for an attack. Even so, it would be foolish to discount the possibility. Baderon is rarely wrong about such matters. I will marshal the Yellow Jackets for battle immediately. The only question is where to send them. While I concur with Baderon's assessment that the attack on the Drydocks was intended as an diversion, Swiftperch is but one of several possible targets for the main thrust.
Commodore, sir!
Report.
It's the Sahagun, sir. They've mounted a large-scale assault on South Tide Gate and threatened to overwhelm our defenses within the day. The garrison requests immediate reinforcements.
By the Navigator, it seems my decision has been made for me. Muster the troops and give them an order to march. Aye, the Serpent Reavers are in league with the Sahagun, which means that there is every chance this assault on Tidegate may yet prove to be another feint. The fact remains, however, that we can ill afford to ignore it, and that leaves Swiftperch vulnerable to these pirate traitors. It is times such as these that I wish the warriors of light yet walked among us, but wishes will avail us not, Duku. You must serve in their absence. Make for Swiftperch with all haste and lend your strength to the squads I can spare for the settlement's defense.
Commodore Reiner sent word we'd get reinforcements, but I didn't expect him to send you. You certainly look like you've seen your share of action, though. You bear little resemblance to the wide-eyed whelp I met fresh off the ferry. In any case, do you know what we're fighting for here? This place, Swiftperch. It was rebuilt by folk who stood strong in the face of every hardship the Calamity threw their way. And we're not about to let some fish-fancying scum claim the honor of being the ones who finally broke their spirits. Don't give those pirate bastards one bloody ilm, you hear me? Here they come!
Yeah, now, I thought all of them yellow jacket worms were meant to be busy. That useless Scrag ain't followed the plan, has he?
Now what? Pull back and wait for our Sahagun brothers.
Piss on that. We ain't turning back empty-handed. Remember, no killing the small folk, or it'll be your blood that which stains Lord Leviathan's altars. The yellow bellies you can butcher at will. Them dirt-eating slugs will be crushed under the full might of the Serpent Reavers.
Seems Swiftperch was the main target after all, eh? Squads 1 and 2, attack the townsfolk. Squad 3, you're our rear guard. The rest of you, we meet their charge where we stand. Let us bear the Commodore word of our victory, or no word at all. For Limsa, sir!
Ah, got all the yellow bellies and dents on your gizzards!
Leave no pirate scum standing. Show them a yellow jacket fight.
Time to split some heads, adventurer. Let's start with the frontline fodder.
More of the bastards. Come on, then.
scabby bastards, is a trick to make you so your breeches. Dweller the busy master calls, heed me words and smite thy me foes. Is that a bloody voice? Hold steady, lads.
Keep on pummeling him. He can't take much more of this.
Well fought. The reavers are beaten, scattered. I'll take some men to hunt down the stragglers. Oh, but there may be more of them lurking about, so don't let your guard down just yet.
The source of his strength becomes clear. You may have bested the golem, but you will not fare so well this day. O mournful voice of creation, send on to me a creature of the abyss, my thrall to command, that I may smite mine enemies. Your very being imperils the plan. You cannot be suffered to live. Soon you shall take your vile gifts to the grave. Whence springs this preternatural might?
Fearsome opponent, against whom you shall not stand alone.
An unwelcome guest. No matter, all shall fall before me. No mortal should possess such strength.
His power wanes, afford him no chance to recover.
That the wisdom of the Paragon should be brought low by mere mortals.
Paragons, did he say? Then it is as I feared. They are known as the Bringers of Chaos, or Asians, to give them their proper name. It would seem our suspicions were correct. It is they who have been manipulating the beast tribes. Pardon, you would know if we Charlayans have encountered Asians before. I have never spoken to you of my homeland. How did you know whence I hail? Wait, I do begin to see. You have been blessed with a special gift.
Are you alright, lad? If I'd known a mean bugger like that was hiding in the bushes, I would have left a squad or 6 to keep you company. Well, at least now we can call this kidnapping investigation to a close. Those reavers were the ones spiriting folks away in the dead of the night, and this bastard here was pulling all the strings.
A trifle simplistic, but not inaccurate. I came as soon as I sensed his presence, but I never thought to find such a scene of carnage. Yet we prevailed, and thanks to your heroic actions, I have learned much.
Aye, heroic is the word. I don't want to think about what would have happened if you hadn't been here, friend. And your assistance is much appreciated too, Lady Y'shtola. Please give our regards to the Scions.
I am glad to have played a role in bringing what I hope is an end to this disturbing spate of abductions. The thread of your fate forms a part of a most intriguing tapestry. Mayhap we will be afforded the chance to speak more in the near future. For now, however, you must see to this particular tale to its conclusion. Pray send my greetings to Commodore Raynor.
Duku, eagerly I have awaited your return. Word of your exploits is already spreading through the ranks. My troops and I owe you a great debt of gratitude for your timely assistance. You have shown yourself to be possessed of a sure arm, a strong spirit, and sound judgment. Would that Limsalam had more of your like. I have little doubt that you shall one day join the ranks of Eorzea's greatest adventurers. It is but a matter of time. Clearly, Baderon's eye for potential remains as sharp as ever, though I doubt even he imagined you capable of such feats. Might you favor me with your own account of the day's events? Such victories bear retelling. Y'shtola has been working with us for quite some time, you see. And she was only too willing to assist the Yellow Jackets in the kidnapping investigation, proving herself a stalwart ally of Limsalam yet again. Needless to say, after your part in thwarting the attempted sabotage of the victory, and the small matter of your deeds at Swiftperch, you too have proven yourself a valued friend of the Lassocracy. Admiral! May I present to you Admiral Blofsvisten.
So, this is the adventurer I've been reading about in the field reports. I am Melve Blufisvin, Admiral of Limsa Lominsa. On behalf of my people, I bid you thanks for the deeds you have done this day. A token of our gratitude. What worth is high regard without just reward after all? Ha! Since you first set foot in our city, my good friend Baderon and Commodore Rayner have taken turns at regaling me with tales of your exploits. Safe to say, they left an impression. Join me at the coming banquet. A seat of honor at the celebratory feast is the least I can offer the man who foiled the Sahagun.
A seat at the feast.
Oh, and don't be late. Your fellow guests will be eager to take the measure of their newest hero, and some do not take kindly to being kept waiting. Till then, may you walk in the light of the crystal,